They called her the Crimson Healer. The Malaxian Empire had crushed 17 star systems before meeting humans. To them, we were fragile, predictable, easy to break. But when they captured one single combat medic, they didn't just take a prisoner. They unleashed a force they couldn't control. In a war built on power and fear, she didn't fight with guns. She fought with bandages, courage, and an unshakable belief that every life mattered. And somehow, that terrified the galaxy more than any weapon ever could. Before we dive into this unbelievable story, don't forget to tap like if you love epic human versus alien moments, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping HFY tales every week. If a single medic could shake an empire, just imagine what's coming next. Share this one with a friend who loves sci-fi, because trust me, you'll want someone to talk about this with later. Space was quiet, but not peaceful. A shattered human transport drifted like a wounded animal through the darkness, its hull torn apart, oxygen bleeding into the stars. The Malaxian strike team closed in, expecting nothing but corpses. But then, they saw her, Lieutenant Alexandra Reeves, a combat medic. Her hands shook from the cold, blood trickled from her nose, but she refused to stop. Even as enemy soldiers surrounded her, she pressed oxygen into a dying soldier's mask, whispering, "Stay with me." "Step away," the Malaxian commander ordered. "You are property of the Empire now." She turned, eyes fierce beneath the frost. "I'm not property," she said, "and he's not dead yet." They laughed, but seconds later, one of them began choking. Reeves calmly held up a scanner. "Your methane levels are rising," she warned. "You're poisoning yourselves." They thought it was a bluff, until another soldier collapsed. With terrifying composure, Reeves released a mist that neutralized the air. She saved her captors, not out of fear, out of duty. And in that frozen wreck, something shifted. The Malaxians didn't just capture a medic that day, they captured an idea they didn't understand. Carax Prime. Cold steel corridors, humming lights, and the distant echo of alien boots. Reeves was escorted through the Malaxian medical facility like a dangerous prisoner, though she wore no armor, carried no weapon. Only a medic's pack. Her first patient wasn't one of her own. It was a Malaxian laborer, wounded in a minor accident. To their scientists, he was expendable. To Reeves, he was simply in pain. She knelt beside him without hesitation, cleaning and stitching the wound as if he were family. The observers whispered, puzzled. "Why waste time on a lower caste?" one asked. Reeves looked up sharply. "Because he's hurting. Do you have a quota for compassion?" Then came the explosion. A lab accident. Alarms blared, smoke filled the hallways. Malaxian medics hesitated, waiting for orders. Reeves didn't. She charged toward the chaos, dragging her escort with her. Inside the burning lab, she worked like a storm. Her voice cut through the panic. "You! Pressure here! You! Move the injured out!" In minutes, she organized a triage faster than their top surgeons. She saved lives the Empire had already written off. And watching her, the commander felt an uneasy thought growing. This human wasn't just healing bodies. She was rewriting their rules. Terrace the Four. A moon drowned in blood-red dust and endless gunfire. Reeves was ordered to the front, not as a guest, but as a tool. "You'll serve because we command it," the Malaxian commander told her. She met his gaze steadily. "I'll serve because they're hurt. Threats don't change that." When she arrived, the field marshal sneered. "This is your miracle worker? A fragile human?" Reeves didn't flinch. "Size doesn't define skill," she replied, scanning the crumbling field hospital. "Though judging by this setup, maybe that's news to you." Then the bombardment began. Explosions tore through the camp. Waves of wounded soldiers poured in, screaming, bleeding, dying. Reeves didn't wait for permission. She seized control, reorganizing triage, barking orders at creatures twice her size. Rank meant nothing. Only survival did. Within 6 hours, mortality rates dropped by half. But the real test came when a new horror struck. A human nerve agent, yellow fumes burning lungs from the inside. The Malaxians prepared to seal the area and let them die. Reeves refused. "You'll let them choke?" she shouted. She knelt in the toxic fog, reverse engineering a cure with nothing but her field kit and raw determination. Hours later, soldiers gasped their first breaths. And the aliens saw her differently, not as weak, but as unstoppable. Whispers spread like wildfire through the camps. The Crimson Healer, they called her, half in awe, half in fear. Reeves had done more than save lives. She'd challenged the very hierarchy the Malaxian Empire stood on. Soldiers began to question orders. Medics hesitated before leaving anyone behind. Something dangerous was blooming. And it wasn't a weapon. It was hope. When Reeves requested permission to treat human prisoners, the commander almost laughed. "Out of the question," he said, but she stood firm. "The Geneva Conventions demand it. Even empires have laws." Her results forced their hand. A neutral tent rose in the valley, white canvas marked with a red cross. There, under the twin suns, human and Malaxian medics worked side by side, stitching wounds without caring whose blood stained their gloves. "Healing shouldn't have borders," Reeves whispered one night. The effect was electric. Recovery rates soared. Morale shifted. Lower castes began helping enemy soldiers. Commanders called it infection. Soldiers called it clarity. Reeves didn't need an army. She had an idea, and it was spreading faster than any virus. When the command post exploded weeks later, she vanished with a handful of medics, both human and Malaxian. What she left behind wasn't chaos. It was a movement. The search ended on the forest moon of Alice. Beneath towering blue trees, Reeves had built a hidden hospital where humans and Malaxians worked shoulder to shoulder. No ranks, no flags, just survival and empathy. When the commander arrived with his troops, Reeves stepped out as if she'd been expecting him. "You're charged with rebellion," he declared. She only smiled faintly. "Is compassion rebellion now?" His soldiers hesitated. "Sir," one muttered, "she saved 17 of us. By law, that merits clemency." And in their eyes, the commander saw it. Change had already taken root. Reeves spoke softly. "You don't fear my medicine. You fear what it means, that every life is worth saving. That's your empire's weakness." She was right. She hadn't fired a shot, yet she had cracked their foundations. Against all logic, the commander opened a secure channel to high command. "We need to talk," he said. Peace talks followed. Not surrender, but understanding. Neutral zones spread. Soldiers trained together. Reeves founded the Interspecies Medical Academy, where alien heirs now quietly study her methods. Looking back, the commander said it best. She didn't heal a patient. She healed a civilization, one radical act of mercy at a time.